Hello, family and friends. Welcome back to another episode of Coffee with Cody. Before I get started today, there's a housekeeping order to take care of. I think this will be the last video that I will post to all the platforms that I've been posting to: TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram occasionally. I'm just going to post now to my YouTube channel. For those of you that have not subscribed, to get notifications of when a new video will be released, you might want to do that. You can go to my channel, Coffee with Cody 55. That was at Coffee with Cody 55 on YouTube. And I think all of the videos that I'll post from now on are from there. The reason being is that I'm getting hit with quite a few people that I don't know wanting to follow and add, and it's just scams for the most part. And so rather than, I just got through getting my phone fixed from a virus, so hopefully we can put an end to that. But after today's post to those platforms, if you want to continue following along and hearing the journey, it will be on YouTube. And again, that channel was Coffee with Cody 55. Thanks for that. Appreciate it. Again, you can go on that channel, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications of when I release a new video. And then certainly any comments, I welcome those. I'm continuing on in my journey with my education process, with stories and different things that happened through my journey in the education area. So with that, I'll go ahead and get started. This is the Sunday edition. And today I'm going to talk about high school, my Wolf Point High School days, freshman year through graduation in 1973. Wolf Point High School, for those of you that are familiar with it, burned down in 1967. There was a fire in the spring of 67, and they rebuilt the school, and that school opened up the fall of 1969. And it just so happens that I got in as the first freshman class in the new building. And the building was constructed to hold the grades 7 through 12. And in particular, what they did was they sectioned it off, and the junior high was on the north end of the building, and the senior high, grades 9 through 12, occupied most of the south side of the building. And it was kind of an octagonal shaped building. We did have common PE areas. The shop and mechanical drawing area was on the would have been the west end of the junior high hallway. So occasionally when you cut through the junior high hallway, you would intermingle with junior high students, so there was some interaction between the 7 through 12 students. But for the most part, the high school occupied the south hallway, and it would have been part of the east wing where the lockers were. At that time, Wolf Point High School had approximately a little over 400 students. I don't know the exact number, but you can certainly research that if you want. And then our junior high was in the neighborhood of 200 or better. So it was a pretty good sized building. Classrooms were pretty full. We were all running around like chickens with their heads cut off because everybody was pretty much in the same boat. It was a new building. Didn't really know where we were headed. We did get maybe a day or two of indoctrination of going through and trying to find the the classrooms that you would be going to and that sort of thing. But really, our first exposure to the high school of the new building was as athletes. We started out our freshman year in the old Ed's Tire Center on Main Street. There was a big area where we dressed for football and had our equipment there. While they were finishing up the locker room areas, those were among the last areas, the locker room and the equipment storage areas and then that sort of thing in the basement where they are now. There was a training room down there, I recall, and the locker rooms were set up in two different areas. One was basically the PE area with the junior high through the sophomore class. When you went to high school, you had to have 2 years of PE, so it was for us freshman sophomore year, and we each had different periods, so it just depended on what period you had PE. In our case, as freshmen, we had John Black as our PE instructor. He was about 5'2", short, stocky, crew cut, very intimidating. He was the wrestling coach, and I wouldn't say he had a Napoleon complex, but he certainly made himself known as the instructor. The girls were on the other side of the hallway, and they too had a locker room. And I believe their instructor at that time was a gal by the name of Mogg, Miss Mogg. I don't think she was married. John Black, Coach Black actually, was the freshman and sophomore PE teacher. And then Mogg was the freshman and sophomore girls and did the junior high as well. Some of the classes I had as a freshman, and I'll try to recall teachers and classes that I had as I went through the high school. In my freshman year, outside of PE, I took math class, algebra, with Keith Lewis. I had a science class. It was called Pre-Physics, and that was with Wilmer Zeller, and we called him Pee-wee. That was the nickname he had for quite a few years. He'd been there. He was a veteran teacher, as was Mr. Lewis. Then for English, I had Joe Sandy. And Joe Sandy had been there, for a couple of years. I don't remember what year he came there specifically, but he was my freshman English teacher. Math, science, English. I also had Spanish. At that time, Spanish was the only foreign language that was offered for those that were college bound, and in my case, I was going to be college bound at the direction of Dorothy Ann Cody. That was on the pipeline. Outside of the 8 years we did at the Catholic school, we were going to do 4 years of high school and go on to college. So we were steered in the direction of Spanish. And I'll never regret that. The 2 years of Spanish I had in high school came to use later on in life, once as a quarter class that I took in college in Billings, and then the other was in my retirement school. The community I was in, Minnetonka, Nebraska, was heavily Hispanic, so I got to use some of the Spanish that I learned in high school, and it served me well. And I'm even using it today in Greeley. Greeley is also another community that is highly populated with Hispanics, and so occasionally I'll get to speak the Spanish that I learned. So the Spanish teacher was Marie Anderson, and she was brand new. She also had a huge study hall. her study hall had over 100 students. So fourth period was kind of like the band period. You're either in band or a period for choir as well. So the music people there were basically, if you weren't in that two particular classes, band and choir, there might have been a few other classes like PE or choices like that for fourth period. But the fourth period class, just ahead of lunch, was over 100 students. And I remember there were so many that we occupied all of the desks in the high school end, some of those in the junior high study hall area, and then even overflow into the library where we had Mrs. Vim and Mrs. Brandt, Evelyn Brandt. Those were the two. Mrs. Vim was the librarian, and Evelyn Brandt was her teacher. So for my teachers my freshman year, I would have had John Black for PE. I would have had Keith Lewis for algebra, Pee Wee Zeller for pre-algebra, Joe Sandy for English, and Marie Anderson for PE, not PE, but Spanish and also study hall. And if there was another class as a freshman, I don't recall what it was. But I think that you had 7 periods, so I don't remember specifically what I had altogether. Just a couple of stories from the freshman year. I'll start with Keith Lewis. One of Keith's favorite things, and students used to tease him a lot, not so much to his face but behind his back, but he always had this habit of taking his keys and digging the wax out of his ears. And that was something that I'll remember. And those of us that had algebra with Keith Lewis probably will, as I recall that story with you. That was one of the idiosyncrasies that he had. He was also the track coach. He coached cross country. And he also had basketball. I think he was the junior varsity basketball coach. So he was in the coaching arena. Moving on, pre-physics. Next to Keith Lewis's room, in that same general area, was the pre-physics room with Willie Zeller. And of course, Willie was probably, I want to say at the highest, maybe 5'1", 5'2". So he was an awful short gentleman. Elderly, because I know he had taught in Wolf Point for a few years. But the tricks that we used to pull on him, we would take the erasers and put them at the very top of the chalkboard, along with the chalk. So whenever he came in the room, he would have to get a chair out and get up on top and get his erasers out and his chalk so that he can do his instruction for the day. Not very good as students, but you know, that's part of growing up, and those are some of the things that we did. Now, it wasn't just Pee Wee Zeller that we were not too kind with. Marie Anderson also suffered some of the wrath. As being a first-year teacher, discipline was not her forte, especially with that study hall class. That was a problem as well. But in Spanish class, there were 2 of my fellow classmates that were really good friends of mine, Alan Kawasaki and Danny Bartle. And one of the things we had to do in Spanish class was we had these headsets. And you were to put the headset on, and you were to take the Spanish book and read Spanish words. So she listened to the conversations out of the textbook that you were reciting over the headsets. Well, we we were kind of rebellious little fellas. Excuse me. Um, Certainly, we picked up some bad habits over at the Catholic school, and then Danny and Alan were public school students, and I'm sure that they had their times as well. But in our particular case, in the Spanish class, what she would do was we would all have our headsets on, and we would be reciting the text out of the book in Spanish. Well, being rebellious, we decided that we were going to sing the Ballad of Jed Clampett. And that's what we were reciting, only we were singing on our headsets, "Come and listen to my story about a man named Jed, poor mountaineer, barely kept his family fed." Only I didn't sing it for you. Well, she decided that she was going to break up that little trio, the Three Stooges, and she transferred Danny out of her class into shop. And really, Danny benefited from that. He became quite successful as a industrial arts teacher later on in his life, and also did well with woodworking. Some of the pieces that he's done, very talented. And Mrs. Anderson, well, Alan and I continued on, but having Danny tossed out of that class, that sent a message. I just also remembered that one of the classes that I had as a freshman was typing. Typing was a good class that, of course, Mother said that you're going to need the typing skills for the rest of your life, and she wasn't kidding. In fact, I became a typing teacher later on in my career as well. So anyway, the typing teacher was, for us, there were two typing teachers. There was a gentleman by the name of Joe Haugen, and then the other one was Dwayne Jagger. And Dwayne Jagger also was the freshman football coach. He coached freshman basketball and assisted, I believe, in track. Maybe not. But anyway, he was one part of the coaching tree in Wolf Point. And I had Joe Haugen as a freshman PE teacher. Not PE, excuse me, typing. So that was the other class that I had forgotten. Another memory that I'm going to send you from the freshman class. There's two of them, actually. The first one, we used to have a unit in softball. And we would play out the back west end, the outside on the dirt and gravel area, the west end of the high school, and we would play softball, dividing up two teams, and then of course Coach Black would play with one of the teams. Well, on this particular day, I don't remember who was pitching, but I can tell you behind the plate was Jeff Berg. Mr. Black, he gets a hold of a ball and smacks it way out there, and it flies way over the outfielders' heads. And as they're running to field the ball, Mr. Black is rounding the bases and boot scooting boogie, and Jeff Berg, out of nowhere, yells out, "Hey, look at that little midget run." Oh my God, that was not a good thing. So Mr. Black rounded the bases, got into home, and right away told young Jeffrey to head to the train bridge. Now the train bridge was about a mile and a half away, straight out center field from where we were playing softball. And that was Jeff's punishment for his nice little comment about Mr. Black. The other thing that I'll tell you about PE class, we used to separate, and the girls would go up one stairwell, usually to the west stairwell, and the boys would go into the gym on the east stairwell. Well, this one particular day, the girls were assembling, and the boys, for the most part, were all the way up. And as the girls were entering the gym, one of the last girls was a gal by the name of Anna Abraham. And as she comes through the doorway, one of the classmates, Kendall Carpenter, lets out a little whistle. And it was a cat call. And of course, Mr. Black, he usually stayed downstairs and locked up the locker room, so our valuables and clothes didn't get messed with. And he comes through the door into the gym just as that whistle is released. We're all lined up against the wall because that's how we started the PE class, against the wall with calisthenics, and then we usually had to run some lines. And he wants to know who whistled at Anna Abraham. Who whistled at Anna Abraham? Well, the first two were awful sincere. And then the last two were a stern warning. You better fess up, whoever it was that whistled at Anna Abraham. Well, we're not ratting out our classmate, and certainly Kendall's not going to own up because he already saw what happened to Jeff Berg, because it was still softball unit time, and basically what we did whenever we had bad weather, you had these rubberized bases and plates, and they would go around in the gym, and we played wiffle ball with a plastic bat. So rather than be outside with the softball, we were inside with the wiffle ball. But anyway, nobody fessed up, and he decides, Mr. Black, that we're gonna do a little exercise. Well, I don't know if you've ever done crab walks, but a crab walk is where you're facing up toward the ceiling with your hands behind you and your feet in front of you, and you're walking around the gym. And we must have did that about 15-20 minutes, and that was no fun. And I'm telling you, we did not do that anymore. The last memory I'll have for you as a freshman PE class was kind of on myself. We were in a gymnastics unit, and we were behind the curtain. And in those days, they dropped the curtain that had a mesh opening probably about 6-7 feet off the ground. But the girls were on one side and the boys were on the other for different units. And our unit was in gymnastics. And I was taking my turn on the pommel horse, and my feet got caught. And I went over backwards and landed right on the base of my neck. And I, very fortunate I didn't break my neck, but I ended up with some cortisone shots in my neck. And that wasn't very fun either. As far as our freshman sports go, I think I'll save that for another unit. And as we're going here, I think time has been flying by, and I'm only through the freshman year. So maybe we'll take these years piece by piece and give you the memories and teachers and stuff that I remember there. So with that, for this Sunday edition of Coffee with Cody, signing out.